A Broken Arrow man is in the hospital tonight after being shot several times by law enforcement last week in Durant.
News on 6's Kristen Weaver talked with the man's sister and investigators. Joins us now in studio with what she's learning tonight. Kristen?
Well, Brian and Lori, Blake Ader's sister, Andy Goodnight, tells me Blake was shot 6 times by Durant police officers, and he'll likely never be the same if he recovers. She says her family simply wants to know what happened and why. Andy Goodnight says her brother Blake Ader is always smiling and always wants to brighten someone's day.
Sweetest, nicest guy, funniest guy you'll ever meet.
He's from Broken Arrow, and Andy says he took a trip to Dallas last weekend. On his way back, Andy says Blake ran out of gas in Durant and had to call AAA early Monday morning. The CBS TV station in Sherman, Texas, KXII, reports Durant police were called to a domestic situation and Blake took them on a short pursuit before stopping and got out of his truck with a gun.
The police report that there was a domestic called, that he was involved in a domestic, but Blake was not part of a domestic. He didn't have anybody with him.
Andy says Blake was shot several times in his arms, near his shoulder, and in his stomach. She says she thinks the situation is a misunderstanding and her brother shouldn't be going through this.
When he was on the ground and then had continued to be fired at and be shot multiple times.
Andy says Blake has undergone several surgeries so far and could have some long-term issues, even if he pulls through.
We're just so heartbroken, and we are, like I said, we take shifts watching over him.
She says she's hoping to see body and dash camera video and hopes witnesses will come forward so the family can understand why this all happened.
We try to hope and pray that, he's going to make it through this.
Now, the FBI has taken over this investigation since Blake is a tribal citizen. They tell us they're working with local agencies and no officers were hurt, but they are still investigating the shooting. Kristen Weaver, Oklahoma's Own, News on 6.
And we are covering breaking news right now. The Oklahoma Attorney General, John O'Connor, says Ascension Saint John has now violated a Tulsa County judge's order not to suspend or fire its employees who do not get vaccinated against COVID-19. On Friday, that judge issued a restraining order against the hospital for not granting any religious exemptions for the vaccine. But tonight, AG O'Connor says he learned Ascension Saint John is still suspending employees who don't get the shot. In his cease and desist letter, he says it appears that Ascension is determined to trample on the sincerely held religious beliefs of the healthcare heroes it employs, despite the court's clear mandate.